Away we go with another edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. This is the edition for Monday evening, June the 29th. One day left in June. What a memorable month it has been. It's been, of course, very, very wet. We've had lots of flooding problems, and this week is going to be better. It's still not going to be great, but it is going to be better. Real quickly before I get to the current weather, recap of the top wettest Junes on record here. Right in the center of your screen or just to the left. Here we are right in through here. We're in third place right now. This does not list this year, of course, but we're snugly in third place. I don't think we get to first or second place based on the rain that we're going to get tonight and tomorrow. I think amounts will generally be under a half an inch. So we should be cemented in third place on the wettest Junes on record here in Youngstown. Real interesting, though, to look back. You hear a lot of talk these days about, oh, the climate's changing and the weather's so volatile and things like that. Well, you look at our Junes back in the second half of the 1980s. What a wild ride this was. The wettest month on record in Youngstown is June of 1986. 1987 was also very wet in June. It's at 6.57. And then 1988, that's the driest June on record here in Youngstown, 0.71. And then the very next year, in 1989, we had the second wettest. So 4 consecutive pretty remarkable Junes back in the second half of the 80s. So that caught my eye. I thought I would bring that to your attention. All right. The rain today we've had has been, for the most part, pretty light. This started around 1 or 2 this afternoon, and a few hundredths of an inch generally. As I record this, some moderate rain eastern Columbiana County down towards Beaver County, PA. But otherwise, any rain that's falling is real spotty and real light. A lot of clouds around. Unfortunately, we won't get to see Venus and Jupiter very close in the sky again tonight. If you were able to see it last night, they're getting closer and closer. They actually are at their closest tomorrow, and then they'll start getting farther apart in that evening sky. But anyway, the clouds will keep us from seeing that tonight. There's a tornado watch down in southern Ohio into parts of Kentucky and West Virginia. I suspect that'll be discontinued here before too much longer. As we go through the overnight, it looks like we are going to be visited by the occasional shower. So let's talk about the simulated radar product here on the high-resolution rapid refresh model. You know me, I like to start with this one because it's a short-term model. It goes out 15 hours in time. It's updated once an hour. Tends to do pretty good in the short range. Well, here we go at 10 o'clock this evening. Spotty shower here and there, not a whole lot. Then as we go forward into the night, here's midnight. We may see a little bit of a resurgence in activity as we head towards midnight, but even this is going to be pretty spotty and pretty light. Middle of the night tonight, 2 in the morning, showers pivoting off to the north. And as you get up tomorrow morning, here we are at 8 in the morning, not much going on. Now, I think there could be a spritz or a sprinkle, a touch of drizzle, maybe a shower tomorrow morning. That's about it. Anything that falls from the sky is going to be pretty light at the start of the day tomorrow. Then as we get into the afternoon on the final day of June, a little disturbance is going to be pivoting in from the north and west. And this will aggravate the atmosphere a little bit and cause things to, pop a bit in the afternoon. I've seen a lot of wet forecasts for the area tomorrow, and I'm not really on board with that. I think tomorrow is actually a decent day. Could be a shower or two in the afternoon as the atmosphere gets unstable. There could be a thunderstorm, but I think the better chance for storms is down here in southwest Ohio into parts of Indiana as well. Our instability locally tomorrow is decent. Here's the Cape values. We're up, that's too high on the NAM. I was going to show you that, but that's way too high. This is more reasonable on the GFS. There's several hundred joules of Cape tomorrow, indicating that there is some potential for some thunderstorm activity, but severe weather or anything like that, not looking real likely at all. So that's tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. And as we go through the rest of the week. Now, if you watch my forecast on 21 News at 6 today, I did talk about how the second half of the week, decent. This is Wednesday morning, the first day of July. Could be a shower around. I think a front's going to slowly cross the area Wednesday. It's a pretty weak one. Best chance for a shower in the morning Wednesday. I think this tries to clear out in the afternoon from northwest to southeast. I think we're in for a pretty good afternoon on Wednesday for the first day of the new month. Hopefully that's a good sign for the rest of the month. Thursday and Friday also looking pretty good. This is the GFS on Thursday, keeping us dry. Some models try to pop a stray shower. I think Thursday the odds are favoring it being a dry day with the moisture mostly down towards the Ohio River. And as we head into Friday, the end of the week looks excellent. We should have some sunshine on Friday as high pressure builds in from the north. Let's bring up the isobars here. lines of equal pressure, isobars. When you see these closed contours, that's either an area of high or low pressure. In this case, it is high pressure. So that high pressure zone will give us a nice day coming up on Friday. So some opportunities to mow and play golf and play softball and anything you want to do outdoors this week. So Wednesday evening, fine. I think Thursday looks okay. Friday's looking good. Now the big question, 4th of July coming up on Saturday. The models are not in great agreement, unfortunately, once we get into the medium and longer range starting this weekend. I'm going to show you the GFS here, and if taken literally, the GFS paints a pretty good picture for us on Saturday. This is the afternoon with, you see, kind of a little bit of green blobbage here, but a lot of times this is just the model picking up on clouds. A bubble of high pressure nearby. Now, if the GFS is right, this is a pretty good day. Now, I will tell you the European model, which tends to have a better track record most of the time, not always, most of the time, in the medium to long range. The European would suggest we have an unsettled day Saturday with a couple of rounds of showers and storms. So we're going to carry a forecast that includes a 40% chance of a shower and thunderstorm right now. Despite the European having a wetter look, at this point I don't think it's any kind of washout on Saturday, but you know how this goes once we get out to 5, 6, 7 days and beyond. Check the forecast often because hopefully as we go through time, the models will start to come into better agreement. We'll start to have more confidence in the forecast. Things can change in the longer range. So 4th of July right now doesn't look like a washout, but stay tuned. Check this video, check other videos, check our forecasts on TV frequently over the next few days if you do have plans for the 4th. Here's Sunday the 5th. Again, take this with a grain of salt. We're out to day 6 now. Maybe a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon here on the GFS model. So that's how things stand for the holiday weekend. Now, quick look at the longer range. Looking at the upper levels here. Here's the pattern we're in right now. Looks like winter did with a big ridge out west, trough in the Great Lakes. This is the pattern we had in January, February, and March, produced lots of snow showers and cold temperatures. Of course, now we're in June and almost July, so we're not looking at that sort of thing, but it will prevent real hot weather from taking hold. We have no chance of hitting 90 anytime in the next week. Now, once we get beyond that, you know, a little harder to say, but in the next week, no way. I mean, we'll be hard-pressed to hit 85 on our warmest days because all the heat is bottled up out west. Here's a look at the upcoming weekend. Now, what's going to happen is that ridge in the west is going to recenter itself over the eastern Pacific and up into Alaska. Still some ridging in the Rocky Mountain states, and a little bit of a bubble of a ridge here across the Great Lakes and up into Hudson Bay and Canada. That will allow temperatures this weekend to be pretty close to average. I think we've got a good shot of 80 or so over the weekends, Saturday the 4th and Sunday the 5th. Now, could it be a little cooler, especially if it rains some? Sure. But we've got a pretty good chance of it being a seasonable weekend. It's not going to be 90, but it's not going to be like yesterday when we were in the 60s or like today when we were in the lower 70s. So as we head into next week then, beyond the 4th of July, here's the middle of next week. The overall pattern here suggests that maybe a trough trying to push into the west, a ridge in the middle of the country, trough in the northeast, and we're kind of somewhere in between, suggesting, again, it's not going to be hot, but it's also not likely to be well below average. Could be pretty close to average. Here's the 16-day output on the GFS ensemble. Again, average about 81 early July, and you notice we don't stray too far from that as we go into the first week or so of July. Now let's talk about July as a whole, the latest climate models. This is the last 7 runs averaged out of the climate forecast system. July looks hot on the west coast, cooler than average again across the plains, parts of the Midwest. Maybe a warm July, sort of, in the southeast. And around here, you know, to me, I'm still kind of looking, I think, at an average July, maybe a touch cooler than average, but close to average. I don't think it's going to be a hot July. I don't think we're going to have a lot of 90-degree days. I also don't think it's going to be the extreme that it was last July. Last July was very cool. As far as precipitation, last 7 runs of the climate forecast system here, wet maybe in the 4 corners compared to average, out in parts of the plains, drier than average East Coast, and maybe close to average here in Northeast Ohio and Western PA. All right, I'm up over 9 minutes. I'll have much more on the July forecast probably in a weather blog post middle of this week. Hope you have a great Monday night. Be sure and check out my forecast tonight on 21 News at 11. Have a great Monday night.